Chapter 5, Section 2. You'll need these four formulas up here. Future value of an investment, P equals P sub 0 e to the kt. Present value, P sub 0 equals P e to the negative kt. Accumulated future value of a continuous income stream, that's A equals R of T over K times e to the kt minus 1. And the accumulated present value of a continuous income stream is B equals R of T over K times 1 minus e to the negative kt. So study the similarities and differences between these two formulas. The P and the P sub 0 are switch places. The present value has a negative kt in the exponent. There's no negative on the exponent in the future value formula. For these two, the R of T over K is the same in both, but these are reversed. In the future value, it's e to the kt minus 1, and in the present value, the 1 comes first, minus e to the negative kt. Also, the present value has the negative on the exponent kt, no negative on the exponent in the future value, accumulated future value. On page 489, exercise 2 says P sub 0 equals $55,000. T equals 8 years. And K equals 4%. The question is to find the future value of the amount invested. This is the amount invested for the time period at the interest rate. To find the future value, we just pick the formula. The future value equals P sub 0 e to the kt. In place of P sub 0, we put 55,000. Where the E is, we put E. The exponent is going to be K times T. K is 0.04, and T is 8 years. We just put this in the calculator. Make sure you can get this in your calculator and see if you get $75,742.03. That's it. That's the future value of $55,000. If interest is compounded continuously. Number 8, this is given. P equals $2 million. T equals 20 years. K equals 9%. So this time, number 8 says find the present value of this amount, which will be due to, say $2 million is due in 20 years, 9% compounded continuously. So the $2 million in 20 years, the question is how much is it worth now? What is the present value? This time we use this formula, P sub 0 equals P e to the negative kt. P sub 0 means the value now. In the future, the value will be $2 million. The E is brought down. This formula has a negative in it. It's going to be negative 0.09. times 20. So put this in your calculator, 2 million times e raised to the negative 0.09 times 20, and make sure you get $330,597.78. So it's important to make sure you, first of all, know what the formula is, know what numbers go where, and how to get this result by correctly using your calculator. Number 10, R of t equals $125,000. T equals 20 years. K equals 6%. This time the question is find the accumulated future value of each continuous income stream at a rate of R of t. This is a rate. For the given time t at interest rate k, compounded continuously, round to the nearest $10. The answer, they ask us to give the answer to a multiple of $10, not the nearest dollar or the nearest cent. The accumulated future value is R of t over k times e to the kt minus 1. The accumulated future value is right here where it says R of t, we put 125,000. Below that we put k, which is 0.06. Next to that, in parentheses, we write e to the 0.06 times 20. And the minus 1 here is not part of the exponent. E is raised to the 0.06 times 20. And then after that, we have this subtract 1. So put all of this in your calculator, round to the nearest multiple of $10. Make sure you can get $4,833,580. 4,833,580. This is rounding to the nearest multiple of $10. Set that in the directions. Number 14, given R of t equals $425,000. T equals 15 years. K equals 7%. This exercise asks for the accumulated present value. The last one was asking for the accumulated future value. This one's asking for the accumulated present value. The formula for the accumulated present value is B equals R of t over k, parentheses 1 minus e to the negative kt. The accumulated present value is 425,000 over k, that's 0.07, parentheses 1 minus e raised to the negative 0.07 times 15. So this all gets calculated on your calculator. Round to the nearest multiple of 10. That's $3,946,810. Answer is a multiple of 10. So this section is just 4 formulas. Plug the correct numbers into the correct formulas and calculate with a calculator. Chapter 6, Section 1 is functions of several variables. On page 554, exercise 8 says f of x, y, z equals 2 to the x plus 5zy minus x, and it says find, so what I wrote up here is given, find f of 0, comma, negative, f of 0, comma, 1, comma, negative 3. This is called a function of several variables because it's this is a function of x, y, and z. To find f of 0, 1, and negative 3, we just replace x with 0, replace any y we see with 1, replace any z with negative 3. They're in this order. This is x, this is y, and this is z. F is just the name of the function. We usually use f, but then it could be, the name of the function could be g, h, whatever. So f of 0, 1, negative 3 is 2 raised to the 0, that's going in place of x, plus 5 times negative 3, because we're using this number in place of z, times 1, because we're using 1 in place of y, minus 0. X is the first number here. 2 to the 0 is 1. Anything raised to the 0 is 1. This middle term is negative 15. And 1 minus 15 minus 0 is negative 14. So number 8 also asks to find f of 1, comma, 0, comma, negative 3. So we just replace x, we replace x with this first number, replace y with this 0, and replace z with negative 3. In here, this is given. 2 to the x, x is 1, plus 5 times z, z is negative 3, times y, which is 0. Minus x, x is 1. So 2 to the x, we're replacing x with 1, plus 5zy, we're replacing z with negative 3, and y with 0. Minus x, replacing x with 1. That equals 2 plus 0 minus 1. 5 times negative 3 times 0 is 0. That makes the answer 1. And we're done.